Hey my frugal friends, wagwan, welcome and welcome back to my channel Frugality is Life. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys are doing well, and I'm gonna just do this quick video because, as you guys know, if you've been following my journey, that we recently purchased a house, and I promised some content pertaining to the house and how did we get here. And to be honest with you guys, I have been downplaying this whole situation from the beginning because one, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if we could buy, I didn't know if we could afford to buy, and so we just went along the process like it wasn't happening, to be honest, until the day we got the keys, which literally we haven't got the keys because it's a keyless smart house and with a keyless lock and everything, so we literally didn't get a physical key, guys, so it didn't really feel too real to us. But I wanted to kind of jump on here and just talk about a few things. I'm gonna eventually get there to tell you guys about, you know, other things about the process and things you need to consider about saving for a mortgage and all these other things. But guys, I want to start by letting you know a few things I did, or we did, my husband and I. When I say I mean my husband as well. We did in order to be able to purchase a house. So being able to purchase a house has been a dream for me from I know myself. Like, that's been my dream. I grew up in Jamaica. I have family land there, so my parents has land and houses and blah blah blah. But it doesn't really feel like it belongs to me. Of course, I have siblings, and so we all have a piece in everything, but it doesn't feel like it belongs to me because I didn't work for it. Yes, it's my parents, and you know, whatever they've left for us, I'm so grateful. But I'm the person, me as a person, for me, I wanted to feel like I really worked and bought somewhere. I don't know if you can relate, and I think it's fine to inherit things, of course, why not? If you're gonna inherit something, it's not like you're gonna say, hey, I don't want it because, you know, I didn't work for it. No, I'm not speaking like that. I'm just saying, like, I've always wanted to do this for me. Simple, point blank. That's it. I've always wanted to be able to work and say, hey, like, I want to own or buy a house. Of course, I don't own it. The bank does, but we're paying a mortgage, right? But I wanted to be able to do this. And so I saved tirelessly. My husband saved as well. But I made it a point of duty to do this. So my husband, he also inherited a house in Jamaica, and he's built on it. He has now 2 units that's been rented, so he's doing his thing as well in Jamaica, and I'm so proud of him. But I wanted something that I could say, hey, like, I did this for me, right? As much as it's like a joint thing where it's both of us work towards it, that is fine, you know, but I just wanted something that we could say it was ours and we worked for it and we achieved it. And so this is big for us. But I'm a person where I don't play things and I just get it done and that's it. But I don't celebrate me. It's hard for me to celebrate me. And so I decided to do this video to, you know, reflect on how I got here. So here are some things. I'm not gonna jibber jabber. I'm not gonna hold you any longer. Let me get to the meat of the matter. So here are some things that we did and didn't do in order to get here. I'm just gonna do 3 big topics: mandatories, how did I save money, and habits I gave up or reduced, right? So let's start with mandatories. Mandatory, the first thing I did was to budget every dollar of my money. And like, it was mostly my money because my husband, like, I budget a portion of money. So how I work things out is, like, I have all the bills. We don't split things 50-50. We don't do that. But what we do is we make sure that one paycheck can pay everything, and then the other one gets saved. And so sometimes it's my paycheck getting saved, or sometimes it's his paycheck getting saved. Like, it depends on the bill. So for us, most of our bills comes out on the first paycheck. So the second paycheck is like mainly for savings. But so what I do is I make sure to budget, and one paycheck pays everything and the other one gets it. Simple, point blank. That's how I do it. So we budget every dollar off the money there, right? The second thing we did was to ensure that our variable expenses were within budget. So I didn't do a lot of expense tracking, because what I did was, whenever you saw me like cashed off my wallet, which I haven't done in a while because I wasn't able to pull a lot of cash out of the bank for the last 3 months when we were going through this process. But what I do is, when I do my variable expenses, which is my wallet, when I cashed off that wallet, I made sure that all the expenses come out of that wallet. So even if I budget for gas and I went over in groceries, that money in groceries, I will try to take it out of gas, or I will take it out of another category within my wallet. As long as it's coming from that cash, for me, it doesn't really matter. You just need to ensure that I keep the expenses within that wallet, that I have stuff, like that amount that I have stuff in my variable expenses. So if I have to dip into other envelopes within my cash wallet, that is fine, as long as I keep it there, right? Because all that money is budgeted to spend anyways. And then you guys saw where if I didn't spend that money, I took it out and I was saving it into 5, 10s, and 20s, my rollover or carry over cash, which totaled up to a good amount of money at the end of the year. I think it was like $760. So that's what I do. I'm going to do that this year, where if I don't spend all the money in my cash wallet, I'm going to roll it over into a carry over savings. I'm going to track it separately. But that was also eye-opening, guys, to see how much I saved from not spending everything in my wallet. But as I said, as long as we keep all the expenses, the variable expenses, within budget, which means within that cash wallet, I was fine. So I didn't do a lot of expense tracking, because, guys, I tend to be busy and doing a million things, and so I fall off, and consistency is something that I really need to work on. But I figured it wasn't important as long as I kept all my expenses within what was budgeted. Other thing was that I always try to do a low buy year. So I don't do a no spend, because I feel like when you fully withdraw from spending and you rush back into spending, you're going to spend more. And that's probably just me. So I just do a low buy. So I just buy what I need, and if there's a thing that I think I want, I'll get it. But I try to keep everything low right throughout the year. So I've never done a no spend challenge. I don't think that's something I will ever do, and that's because I feel like keeping everything low throughout the year works out best for me versus tracking a no spend. I feel like a low buy year is better for me. It works out better because it's 12 months, guys. So throughout that 12 months, I'm keeping my spending low. But I think doing a no spend is good for people who you need to pull back. And sometimes it's good to restart with a no spend, if that's for you. If you say for example, December, you spend a lot of money in buying gifts and all these things, and so you said January comes around, you're not going to spend because you want to kind of get yourself balanced. Like, that's totally fine. Like, I think that's totally fine. Sometimes you just need a refresh, and you just need to stop spending and then get back on the train. For me, I feel like keeping my spending low throughout the year and buying things that I want here and there, and sticking to mostly of what I need throughout the year works out better for me. So I do a low buy year always, versus a no spend like week or 2 weeks or month. Like, that's what worked for me, that I was able to save up all this money. Okay, how did I save money? I guess that was a good segue, right? So I saved money the traditional way. I don't know if this is traditional, but what I did was I set up direct, like, auto withdrawals from my from my account where I got paid into different savings. So those, as soon as my paycheck hit the bank, those will already be transferred, and so I don't have to worry about it. So they're almost like auto they're auto withdrawals or direct debits or whatever you want to call them. So those are taken out before I even get a chance to do anything in my account. So that's what I did. So I set up a few of those. So it went to my highly yield account. I have one that takes out a certain amount. I was taking, I think, like $5.50 out of my one pay and another amount out of another pay. So I set it up where it withdraws this money every single time I get paid and debits it or deposit it into the savings account. So I didn't have to think about that. Those were mandatory savings. I didn't have to physically do anything. They were set up there. So I did for high yield. I had an amount going every single paycheck. I had an amount going to my first time home buyer savings account, which we have in Canada. You can put up to $8,000 a year for 4 years in there, or for 5 years, something like that. And then like it's only to be used for purchasing a house. So I took advantage of that. I actually was just in it for 2 years, because since I bought end of last year, I was in it for 2 years. So I tried to max out at 16K, which I did. And yeah, so that's what I those were mandatory, guys. And so the other thing I did was I invested in guaranteed investment certificates. I think they're probably similar to CDs in the US, but these you buy for a certain amount of time. You put in a certain amount of money and you get a certain interest rate, and then you lock your money in for this period of time and you earn a certain amount of interest. So I was doing that consistently for the last few years, and this did not happen in the 2 years of me being on YouTube, guys. I have been saving to buy a house from we were debt free last in 2023 December. We became debt free because I did my cash stuffing, and then I used the money I saved over the year to pay off all our debts. So, but I was saving and paying debt at the same time, and that's something that's also maybe not something that everyone thinks about or thinks is the better thing to do, but for me, it worked for me. I don't believe in saving $1,000 and then paying debt and not saving anything else. I absolutely don't believe that. I believe that you have to constantly save money, because a car repair costs more than $1,000. If your house, a repair electronic costs more than $1,000. If you depends on the emergency, it could cost you so much money. Like I remember my husband's car truck engine going down, and it cost us like $25,000-$30,000, guys. Like, who has that money saved? You have to. I feel like you have to consistently save. So for me, I believe in saving and paying debt at the same time. Work out a ratio that works for you and do make it happen, because you can pay off all your debt and you have nothing saved, and once something happens, you have to go back into debt. Like, that didn't work for me. I did it where I paid both, and it worked out perfectly for me, because then I was able to have money saved after paying down my debt. So literally 1 year after paying off all our debts, I was able to buy a house, my husband and I. That's the only way that could have happened, if we were saving over time. Like with saving, it's consistency and time, because the longer you save, even if it's smaller increments, the more that money will add up. And so that's why I don't believe in saving $1,000 and then stop saving and paying all your debt. I feel like you have to consistently save right throughout the time. So that's what I did. I saved money and I paid down debt at the same time. So 1 year after I became debt free, I was able to buy a house. The other thing I did was cash stuffing method. Like, it works, guys. It absolutely works, because you see that money and you don't want to spend it, or you have an ability to save and see where your money goes and see it grow over time in front of your eyes. I'm not saying that cash stuffing only and not putting money into the bank to earn interest is the way to go, but I think definitely substituting that with cash stuffing does work. The other thing is I want to talk about is habits I gave up or reduced. I'm just making sure that this is still recording. Habits my husband and I gave up or reduced. 1, eating out. guys, we stopped eating out for a long time. We were making all our food at home. Occasionally I would get like, you know, some chicken wings or something, like occasionally. Like we didn't deprive ourselves totally, but we reduced it like 99%, and that saved us a ton of money. Buying coffee and any other bits outside, we didn't do that. Snacks, different things like that, we didn't do that. We bought what we needed when we went grocery shopping, and we stuck to it. I reduced drastically shopping for clothes, shoes, housewares, furniture. We only bought the necessities. Like I didn't need to buy furniture, guys, because my goal was to buy a house and buy new furniture for the house, which I'm doing now. So I didn't need to buy new furniture for my apartment, so I didn't do that. The other thing we reduced or gave up, we reduced alcohol consumption. It costs a lot of money to buy alcohol, guys. Depends on the alcohol you drink. Like if you're gonna be drinking your Hennessy, like those cost a lot of money, guys. So we reduced that drastically. We actually stopped drinking for I think a year and a half until we stopped buying alcohol. So those cash add up, guys. Whether we like it or not, it does add up. So these are some of the things, my mandatories, how I saved money, my husband and I, and habits we gave up or reduced in order to save money. And I think if you took nothing away from all of this, I think what you should take away is that in paying down your debt, remember to save money, because if something else should happen, where will you get the cash? You're gonna go right back into debt. So guys, this is my journey, and I want to start putting out content pertaining to the mortgage and how did we get there on Saturdays. I'm not gonna promise, but that's something I'm trying to do. So this is gonna be the first video that I put up pertaining to that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, keep budgeting, stay frugal, and walk good. Bye.